One of the hardest things to accept in dating is this. People don't suddenly lose interest overnight. It usually happens slowly. And most of the time, the signs are there. You just don't want to see them. Not because you're naive, but because you care. Because when you like someone, you don't look for reasons to leave. You look for reasons to stay. So you ignore small changes. You tell yourself they're just busy. You tell yourself it's just a phase. You tell yourself it will go back to how it was. But deep down, something already feels different. And that feeling is usually right. The first sign they're losing interest is inconsistency. At the beginning, everything feels easy. They reply fast. They make time for you. They show effort without you asking for it. But over time, that starts to change. Replies get slower. Plans become less frequent. Effort becomes inconsistent. And instead of steady attention, you get random moments of interest. One day they seem fully present. The next day they feel distant. And that creates confusion, because you're not sure what changed. So you start trying to figure it out. And this is where most people make a mistake. Instead of stepping back, they lean in. They text more. They try harder. They give more attention, because they think effort will fix the distance. But it doesn't. Because when someone is pulling away, more effort from your side doesn't create attraction. It often does the opposite. It makes the imbalance even more obvious. And slowly you go from feeling chosen to feeling like you have to earn their attention. Another sign is a change in communication. It's not just how often they text. It's how they text. Conversations become shorter, less engaging, less personal. They stop asking questions. They stop showing curiosity. It starts to feel like you're the one keeping the conversation alive. And that shift is important, because when someone is interested, they want to know more about you. They want to connect. When that disappears, it usually means their attention is somewhere else. You might also notice that they stop making plans, or they cancel more often. At the beginning, they made time for you. Now it feels like you have to fit into their schedule. Everything becomes last minute, uncertain, unclear, and you start feeling like an option instead of a priority. And that's a big shift, because effort is one of the clearest signs of interest. If someone wants to see you, they will find a way. If they don't, they will find an excuse. Another sign people often ignore is emotional distance. Even when you're talking, something feels off. They're there, but not really present. They don't open up the same way. They don't share as much. They don't connect on the same level. And you feel it. But instead of addressing it, you ignore it, because you're afraid of what it might mean. And this is the hardest part. You already know something is wrong, but you don't want to accept it, because accepting it means you might have to walk away. And that's painful. So you stay. You hope things go back to how they were. You hold on to the good moments. You focus on what it used to feel like. But the reality is this. You're not reacting to who they are now. You're reacting to who they used to be. So what should you actually do? You stop ignoring the signs. You stop making excuses for behavior that doesn't feel right. You stop trying to convince someone to give you the same energy you're giving them. Because interest is not something you should have to chase. It should be clear. It should be consistent. It should feel natural. And if it doesn't, that tells you everything you need to know. The truth is simple. When someone is losing interest, their actions change. And you feel it. The problem is not that you don't see it. The problem is that you don't want to believe it. But the moment you stop ignoring how someone treats you, you stop settling for less than you deserve. And you start choosing yourself again.